break your little bubble, but you gotta wake up to reality. 'Cause I can see in your eyes, your head is full of...
It's official. I started. It ends with us. I honestly never thought this day would come. I am very late to the parade. I am, what, 6 years? No, more than 6 years. Late to the parade? 6 years. Yeah. 2016. 6 years late for the parade. And I have thoughts. I wrote them down because I feel like I've never heard anybody actually give a review of this. I've just heard people like rave about it, and I don't get it. This is my second Colleen Hoover book, okay? I read Verity and I hated it. I didn't hate it. I think I gave it like 2 stars, which is like kind of, I know people love that one, but Ryle, can we just like talk about him? I feel like I never hear anybody talk about Ryle, and everybody talks about Atlas. So I started this last night and I am 175 pages in, 176 pages in, and nobody has talked about Ryle. In any of the reviews that I've seen, I must be watching the wrong reviews because nobody talks about Ryle, and literally like he sucks. And that's probably why nobody talks about him, because he sucks. The desperation on this man is a little bit like, it freaks me out a little bit, because he says he has no problem, like, you know, getting women to sleep with him, but he's so desperate. And it's weird because like I've realized I like groveling, but this man, not for me. And I don't feel like this book is aged very well. Like, I just don't understand what Lily actually likes about Ryle. Is he just convenient? Is she just like, I just don't get it. He hasn't presented any qualities. To me, he's a walking red flag. I just don't understand. But I think the diary entries are kind of hilarious. Well, they're not hilarious, but I'm just trying to figure obviously how everything connects. I do think that it's weird to me that this book is posed as romance. I actually don't feel any romance in this. I mean, there is romance. Obviously, there's relationships forming. But to me, this book is about abuse and the cycle of abuse. And I can kind of see where it's going if that's like the theme. And I had no idea that this is what that was about. That's what this was about, honestly. Right now it's sitting at like a 3-star for me. Again, I'm only halfway through, but I don't know. Am I gonna buy It Started With Us? It Starts With Us. Maybe? I don't know. I just really need to see where this is going. And I need to see, like, I just need to see like where it goes with Ryle, because I can tell you where it's probably gonna go. Okay, I've made it to page 118, and the first violence has happened, and it's so interesting. She says, that's all it takes to completely change everything about a person. 15 seconds. And I mean, I knew this was coming. Like, you can kind of see the trajectory of where the story's going, but you know, it's weird. I'm really enjoying the reading experience of this book, which is really weird. Like, I actually didn't think I was really even liking the book, but I haven't read something like this in a while. Like, it's intense, but also like not so dense where I'm just like, what the hell is happening? And it's hard because it's like, oh, this is a romance, but like, it's not. To me, this is drama. And so, you know, people say that her books just like tear you apart, and I get it. It's not really romance. I'm gonna stop thinking of Colleen Hoover as romance. I feel like that would just be best. Even though I think her newest book is like part of, like, nominated for the like romance section of the Goodreads Choice Awards. So I have to figure out if I'm gonna read that one. I keep thinking that I might just order it and read it as part of this, but we'll see. We'll see where it goes. The parallels that you can see between, you know, what happened to her mom and what happened to her, and this is definitely obviously about the cycles of abuse. And I'm thinking, like, obviously that's where the title comes from, and hopefully it ends with them, but we'll see. I feel like this is such a sad line that I just read. It says, Somehow the only thing that eases the hurt just caused by this man is this man. Let's get to it. I feel like I look sweaty and just so tired. It is like so warm in my apartment right now. The heat is on and it's like good because it's like the heat's on because it's freezing outside, but in here it gets so warm. My apartment is one room and it gets so warm. So I'm like sweating, but I finished it. I finished It Ends With Us like a couple days ago. What did I say? Oh, It Ends With Us. It Ends With Us a couple days ago. And I think I gave it like 3 out of 5. I thought it was okay. I didn't sob uncontrollably. Maybe that makes me heartless. I don't know. But I will say what I liked about it is I thought, one, the author's note. I think if there's ever an author's note, it automatically makes like the story 10 times better because, you know, it's coming from like a place of like real pain or like realness in general. And Colleen left the author's note at the end, and I thought that that was really beautiful and very personal. And I will say that's the one thing I thought that was done really well, was the relationship between, not like between her and her mom, but just the way, realizing how you like view your parents when you're younger and how you view them in like certain situations of like, oh, why wouldn't he leave this, why wouldn't she leave this man or whatever. And then when you get older, you kind of understand them more. You understand like they're just also people trying to freaking figure it out. And I think like Lily's realization of kind of being in that exact same situation that her mom was in, the same abusive situation that her mom was in, almost like, no, it definitely like humanized her and made her understand her mom a bit more. And I thought that was done really well. I think like the idea of generational trauma and how that like the cycle of abuse continues, and for her to realize like, no, it's gonna end with us. Like, I thought that was pretty good. I don't read a lot of books about abuse because that's just like not for me, not my bag. But I, again, didn't realize that this was about abuse going in. I have witnessed abuse in my life between my parents. And so I thought I would be more triggered by this, but I'm not as triggered because I think maybe I've grappled with that. I don't know. But I thought that aspect of the story and the way that the cycle of abuse, and then like realizing, you know, it asked that question of like, what would you do? Like, we judge a lot. People judge like, oh, why wouldn't they leave this person? Why? So many questions, but you don't know what you do unless you were like in that situation. And I think that book does this really well. So I'll give her that. I'll give Miss Hoover that, you know? And yeah. I don't know why Amazon does the like double wrapping thing. It's so weird to me. I bought the second one. It's a lot shorter. Is it shorter? Yeah, no, it's still shorter by like 40 pages, but I bought It Starts With Us because another thing I did like about It Ends With Us is Atlas. We don't get a lot of him because I really thought the book was about Atlas. It's not. We don't get a lot of him, but some of his lines, like I didn't really annotate this book. All I did was tab. I don't know, you can kind of see it, but all I did was tab. And there were some lines that like Atlas says, like, oh, if you ever fall in love again, he says, in the future, if by some miracle you ever find yourself in the position to fall in love again, fall in love with me. Like, who doesn't think that that's cute? It's cheesy, but it's fucking cute. And so I guess this is about Atlas. I don't know. Let me see. Oh, wait. Lily and Ryle have just settled into a civil co-parenting rhythm with their daughter. Then Lily suddenly runs into Atlas nearly 2 years after they last spoke. Wait, what? Oh, I really legit. Okay, it says we get a deeper look into Alice's past as he and Lily reconnect and rekindle the love they shared as teenagers. Okay. As navigating volatile ex-husband who believes Atlas to be one of the reasons his marriage with the Lily ended. Okay, you know, this could be interesting, I guess. I'm nervous now, but we get an Atlas chapter. We get Atlas chapters, so that might be better. But we'll see how it goes. So I'm 135 pages into It Starts With Us. Honestly, want this to be over. I don't know what it is, but I'm like a little bit bored. Is that rude? There's a lot of like Lily journal entries in here, and I'm like, I already read It Ends With Us, so like, why do I need to reread her journal entries? I don't. So I've been kind of skipping over them. All right, so I did it. I finished It Starts With Us. So let's talk about it. Okay, so I finished the duology, I guess we can call it now. I feel like I'm not straight. I feel like my camera is not straight. I have this random stuff in the background. Jesus. Isn't it cool to have a couch now? I feel like I've really upgraded my apartment. I should do like an apartment tour. That'd be kind of cool. Anyway, let's talk about them. I am really bad at reading like really hyped books. So I know this came out in 2016, but when this like was really hyped on TikTok, I didn't join TikTok until this year. And maybe if I would have joined TikTok in like May or in March of like 2020, maybe I would have had a different experience. I don't know, but I'm really bad at reading hyped books. I will say that. And I know that like TikTok is what really hyped this up. And so for me, I needed to see what the hype was. I'm like, you know what? Let me just see what the hype is, and then I can be done with it. And I will say this book is mid, but it's a lot better than this one. I didn't know that this book was about abuse at all. I just like the way that people talk about Colleen Hoover, it's like she's a romance author. And I will say, let me preface this by I have read Verity and I did not like it. Not that I didn't like it, it just made me feel really uncomfortable. And I think that's probably the point. That being my like first venture into Colleen Hoover, I don't know if that was like the best thing to do, but it happened. It is what it is. So I decided to just jump into like the romance. But the crazy thing is like, I actually don't feel like there's really that much romance in here. I feel like the romance is obviously between Lily and Atlas. And I heard people talk about Lily and Atlas for so long, and I'm just like, and when I read this, I'm like, where the fuck is Atlas and who the fuck is Ryle? Like, nobody talks about Ryle. And I know why, because he's a piece of fucking shit. I will say, the one thing I did like about this, and I might have said this already, but the one thing I did like about this is I liked the depiction of seeing your parent go through something and kind of like judging them or like not understanding what they're going through, and then unfortunately you going through the same thing, and then you kind of see your parent in a new light. And I think that happens actually to a lot of us, not in this extreme way, but I think that when we grow up, you know, our parents are supposed to be the ones that like protect us and like take care of us, and not all parents show up. I only had one parent who showed up, and so, you know, they make choices that we don't understand when we're like 5, 6, even 11 or 12. But like when you get older and thinking about making similar choices or having to be in similar situations that they were in, you kind of like get a new understanding of your parents. Like they are also people just trying to figure it out, because nobody has it figured out. And even like when I look at my mom today, I'm like, she's just a person like trying to figure it out. She was just trying to figure it out then. We're all trying to figure it out. So I feel like it gives her like a new light, like respect to your parents when you get a little older and you're like, oh, okay, now I get them. We're people, you know? And I thought she handled that well. I thought the reflection from Lily about like her and her relationship with her mom and like not leaving the abusive relationship, I thought that that was interesting. That's probably what I liked the best. And Atlas, I will say I really did like Atlas. I think some of the best lines in this book are from Atlas. And so that's why I was interested in picking up It Starts With Us. I kind of felt like I couldn't read this and like not give this a chance. I'll give a book a chance most times, but when I tell you, this was not it. I was so bored. I was so bored, and it took me way longer. I finished it last night at like 1 a.m. and it took me way longer than I thought it would to get through this, but I just was like, I just didn't care. I went from caring so much about Atlas to, you know what I was thinking? I feel like I could just have a whole book with Atlas. Like, I'm tired of Ryle and Lily. Like, Ryle's a piece of shit. We know that. And I feel, again, some of the best lines from this came from Atlas. I just read the words and I didn't like it. I DNF'd it. But there's a whole subplot line in that one. Sorry, spoiler alert. There's a whole like subplot line in that one about like a sister and whatever. It doesn't really give much away, but like a long lost sister. And there's like something in this about that, like a long lost brother. And it's like, that was interesting, but I just felt like this was really bland. Is that bad? Oh God. I feel like such an asshole for like not liking, you know, but you know, we're allowed to not like books. Everybody has their opinion, and these opinions are my own. They are not a reflection on anybody else's, but I didn't, I was so bored. I just wanted it to be better. And I don't know what could make it better. To me, it just felt a little bit short, and that's what I have to say. I will say the cutest thing in this book though is that there's, when you figure out where it starts with us, you think, you know, there's a lot, I think there's a lot of interpretations of this title of It Starts With Us, but I feel like the title is about, hey, sorry, Eileen, it's getting crazy. The title, stop, is about, you know, like Lily and Atlas. Obviously there is a start there. You kind of get more about Atlas, but there's a scene between him and his like long lost brother and the family tree. And I think that part was like very special. And he's like, oh, well, we don't need branches. We can just start our own family tree. And I was like, oh, that's really sweet. So like there were some, stop, she's getting crazy. There were some parts that I liked, and then I just feel like it fell flat. But I did it. They're done. I didn't annotate this. I did tab it. I don't know if you can see it. And I wrote some notes of like initial thoughts. But this one I like barely tabbed. You like can kind of see, I like barely tabbed. And that for me is like not a book I'm gonna keep. I don't think I'm gonna keep this book. I will donate it and send it to the next house. Maybe not I'll sell it probably, but I will send it to somebody else who wants to read it and hasn't got a chance to. So anyway, thank you for sticking around to watch this probably insanely chaotic It Ends With Us, It Starts With Us reading vlog, because I know it was chaotic. It took me forever and I did it. I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I did it. Like I feel like there are some books where I'm like, oh, that was a waste of time. But like, I'm glad I like to make my own opinions about books, movies, music, everything. And now I can form my own opinion on whether I like this or not. And we're done, you know? So I have probably 6 other Colleen Hoover books. Will I be reading them? I don't know. I did start Ugly Love. I might read that. I do want to read November 9, and I do want to read Confess, because I heard that one's about like art, an art dealer. And I think that's actually kind of cool. So we'll see. But thank you for sticking along this far in the video. Tell me your favorite Colleen Hoover book in the bottom, and maybe I'll read it. I want to do like another like Colleen Hoover reading vlog. And if I read, so I've read 3 of her books at this point, and I've maybe liked 1 of them, 2 of them. Like Verity, I didn't dislike it, just made me feel uncomfortable. And I was just like, what is this? Again, I don't think that was the greatest start to reading Colleen Hoover. But anyway, I didn't hate this one. I will say I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it. And I think that's a win. I think that's a win. Anyway, see you next time.